Many people believe that Greek life centers on the Animal House image in which members get horrid grades, drank to oblivion, and the overall picture had no positive qualities. In actuality, Greek men and women consistently achieve higher grade point averages than those of non-Greeks, and are presented with more occasions to assume strong and effective leadership roles. Sandra Day O'Connor, Jesse Jackson, Thurgood Marshall, George Bush, Lee Iacocca, and Dan Quayle were all members of Greek organizations at their respective colleges. The Greek ties do not stop at the national level. Even here at Louisiana State University, the Chancellor, Bud Davis, was a member of Kappa Sigma fraternity. Bud's right-hand man here at LSU, Special Assistant to the Chancellor, Sonny DeVillier, tells us why Greek life enhanced his socio-academic life at Louisiana State University.
I came from a small town, and I couldn't think of anything that I was less likely to do than join a fraternity. But as I came here during the summertime and got to be meeting a lot of people and all, and at that time they gave you a little card, and on the card you had all the fraternities write in all their names and the days that you were going to go there and all this other stuff. It wasn't quite as, it was very much more structured but different than what it is now. And as a result of it, your cards got filled in kind of soon, or early anyhow, and as luck would have it, one of the fraternities I didn't have any rush dates with is the fraternity that I wound up joining. But anyhow, so that's actually kind of how it went at that time. But after that, I became very involved in the Greek system, as you know, and was very fortunate being able to serve as president of my fraternity for 3 years. And I don't know anyone crazy enough to have wanted to do that for that long, but nevertheless I did. And I can't think of anything, you know, I think often that if I had an obituary to write for myself, it would probably say something like family, fraternity, university, somewhere in that kind of order, because it means that much to me.
In addition to DeVillier, another LSU official, Associate Dean of Students, Warren Bud Richey, tells us how his life was enhanced by joining a fraternity.
Yeah, but I ended up joining Sigma Nu. It was, for me, it was a good experience. I think the guys encouraged me to do well in school, supported getting involved in campus. I ended up holding an office in the chapter my senior year and was involved in the fraternity council. Actually worked for the national organization as a chapter consultant and then a director of chapter services. So, in large part, I think the experience with Sigma Nu as both an undergraduate and then working for the fraternity kind of pushed me in the direction of working with college students on a more general basis.
Along with effective leadership qualities come business opportunities. And the Greek system provided DeVillier with the means not only to get jobs, but to provide them as well.
I think it's the greatest network system that I've ever been exposed to. And not only has it helped me, but even now back on the LSU campus today and being involved, I can usually find some kind of jobs for somebody just through the fraternity, and it's been great.
Through the community work and campus relations involved with Greek life, many vital relationships are created, which are imperative connections and training for future jobs and careers. Julie Brabetz is a member of the Pi Beta Phi sorority and feels her participation in the Greek system has greatly aided her in her new job.
When I first joined a sorority, I thought it'd mainly be just for fun and to meet new people and mostly for social reasons. But once I got involved, I realized you can really meet a lot of people to be important in networking later on in life. For instance, a lot of times we would organize different projects and events, and we'd have to work with like a lot of area people in Baton Rouge. And through that, you meet a lot of people in the community. You also meet a lot of alumni. When I started applying for jobs, it was a really good thing to have on my resume because they saw that not only you were active socially, but with a lot of philanthropic things. And when I got my first job in sales, it was really helpful because I go around town and I was selling products and I was talking to all these people, and it was a really good way for me to network because I always had some link to other people in sororities there. Either if it was their daughter was in a sorority or they were in a sorority or they knew something about it, and they'd give me a chance, you know, let me in the door and talk to me because they wanted to have a few minutes and be like, oh, I remember when I was at LSU and I was Greek, and it's just been a really good way for me to meet a lot of people when I was there and to have a connection with other people in the area and the community.
As with any major organization, the Greek system is not completely without faults. Alcohol abuse, hazing, and drug abuse continue to plague the Greek system, although not as widely spread as it once was.
One of the greatest things that have been a great danger to the fraternity system, as well as to our country for a while, has been the drugs. You know, drugs really tore the fraternity system apart. And fortunately at LSU, it seems to have been a thing of the past. But even now, today, I know 2 fraternities now that are suffering again from drug problems. We know we have another fraternity that had similar problems, that are 2 more that are still not here right now. So I'm just hoping that we don't see a resurgence of this kind of problem, because I think it may well be the death knell for fraternities after, because people aren't going to put up with that kind of foolishness anymore. And hazing, and even the idea of hazing is so foreign today to the profile of the students we have coming to LSU. And I hope that some of the fraternities that haven't realized that wake up soon and you know, get with the program, and let's do the right thing and make this a quality school with a quality Greek system.
Do you think that, although there are close to 3,000 Greek members at LSU, nearly 25,000 students are not involved in Greek organizations? Ted Barsh, a senior in history, tells us why he didn't join a Greek organization.
Well, I had a friend of mine back, because I'm originally from California, and she was raped by a guy in a fraternity, because I know they have a lot of fraternity parties and that go along with all the drinking and stuff, and that kind of influenced me. My brother was Greek too, and I have some friends that are Greek, but it just wasn't for me. I just think, you know, buying your friends, I just don't think it's worth it.
Greek organizations have been on the LSU campus for over 150 years and are steeped in tradition, but it is that tradition which may alter their future growth.
The animal house image, that's the biggest knock on fraternities by far. And some fraternities, even some on this campus, think it's wonderful, and they even like it, you know, they work at it. But you know, that's passé, man. That's totally ridiculous. That's horse and buggy days. That's not the profile of the LSU student today. And if the fraternities don't find it out soon, they're going to find out that they're stuck out there all by themselves.
I think what we see in the big picture is that higher education institutions are pretty dynamic. They're changing. The students who attend our colleges and universities are changing. And when we see the fraternity system, it's pretty static. It's resistant to change, and it wants to cling to the ways things have happened in the past, and not a lot of progressive intent of moving forward. I'm not sure it even looks at the changing face on the college campus as being potential members of the organizations. So what we have, I think, is we have colleges and universities changing, older people coming. We've got fraternities and sororities that say, let's keep doing things the way we've been doing them, and kind of get out of our face with this stuff about risk management and let us buy alcohol with our funds and let us do these things. And there's a pretty big press externally from the nationals that's hitting the chapters. The litigation concerns are not going away. And colleges and universities are saying, what's going on? We're seeing change throughout our environment, if you will, internally, except in this area. So I think we're seeing friction. And I would couch, I guess, in the context of what I see as the locus of the problem here is that institutions are changing, fraternities and sororities are not changing to meet the needs of the new students. Probably pretty simplistic, and we can talk about a lot of symptoms and how it surfaces, but I think that's a crux of the issue. That fraternities and sororities need to be more progressive in meeting the needs of the students who are here now, as opposed to seeking to cling to the way things have always been done.
Is there something to be said for tradition?
Absolutely.
Or tradition is just thrown out the window?
Yeah, there's much to be said for tradition, and I think those good traditions should be maintained.
From student government to intramural sports to Campus Crusade for Christ, Greek members have played a large part in the development of LSU for nearly 2 centuries. Former student body president and Greek member Stephen Morey explains how membership in a fraternity helped him get elected.